Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about supplements for just a minute. If you look on the home page for the TLT, there's a button that says, should I supplement? And there's some written stuff in there, but if you didn't want to read through all that, or maybe you had more questions on it, I thought a little video might be helpful. So I'm not a big fan of taking tons of supplements, and definitely not on taking tons of supplements all year round, exactly the same, lots of them. It gets expensive and it's just unnecessary. And aside from that, you don't even know what's working and what's not. You're just stacking supplements on top of supplements. The other thing is that, you know, if you think from an evolutionary standpoint or an ancestral medicine standpoint, we would have lived off of food, which is, we can talk that conversation another time, but those foods would have changed through the seasons, and then they would have benefited us, or we would have had those specific nutrients for a set time of the year. So you can picture that as like, let's think like the salmon running down the river, right? That's not like a constant flow of salmon when you can get them all the time, but there would be a time of year when that would happen and you would eat all the salmon you could, and then you would have tons of omega-3s and things like that. You know, strawberries wouldn't be available all the time. You know, they would have a certain time of year, and in the spring there would be fresh green shoots, and those would provide the nutrients you needed to kind of move your body along after eating lots of root vegetables and things like that, salted meats and stuff in the winter. So anyways, I was just going to highlight a couple of supplements. What we're doing in the TLT is we're kind of doing a restart. It also, for us right now, we're in January, so we're coming off of that heavy season of holidays, just a heavy season. Often we drink too much during that time of the year, and even if it hadn't been the holidays, here in Florida, we're kind of starting to think spring thoughts already. Even though we probably will still have a little bit more cold weather, our growing season has started here. So the first supplement, this is the only one, magnesium chelate, it's the only one that I recommend people take all year round. Magnesium is really important in the body, particularly women. We find that they have a hard time having regular stools or bowel movements, and so this magnesium can really help with that. And you can take this at night. It'll also aid in sleep. This particular one that we carry is 150 milligrams. I always recommend starting with 2 at night, doing that for a couple days, then bumping up to 3 for a couple days, and then finally up to 4. You can stay at that 4 for a period of time, like for example the 14 days where we're focusing on nourishment, and then back down. The only thing that you would do different there is that if you got up to 4 and found that your stools were quite soft in the morning, you would want to go ahead and back off. So you can't hurt yourself with magnesium. The only thing that happens if you take too much is you just poop a lot. So you just back off from there. So that's that one. This is Therabiotic. This is my children's probiotic. I recommend a probiotic, especially like in a reset phase like this. We have a lot of information about what the gut flora does for the body now. You actually have more bacteria cells in your gut than you have human cells in your body. So we know that that plays a big role, and a lot of research has gone into determining that it has to do with everything from like skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, mental health, so like depression, anxiety, and even digestive health. We don't really know everything that it does, but we know that it's really important, and more things are coming out. So this is the chewable children's probiotic here. I only give my kids a probiotic, and I only take a probiotic when I'm not doing a good job with fermented foods. We eat a lot of fermented foods here in our house, and I'll just highlight those. If you don't have fermented foods in your diet, you would probably benefit from taking a probiotic. So fermented foods would be things like kombucha, which we make at home, but we also sometimes buy it from the store. And another popular one is sauerkraut. And I'll put a link. I talk about these pickle pipes in one of my blog posts. It's the easiest way to do sauerkraut. And then you can just do small jars and have multiple flavors going at once. Okay. Next up is a digestive enzyme. So a digestive enzyme is really, really beneficial this time of year when we're coming off of those heavier foods like soups and stews and root vegetables and things like that, these enzymes are generally naturally made in your body. Sometimes your body just struggles or it's not working up to snuff. Can be really helpful in the digestion of food. So for what we're doing, the time to take this would be at the end of your fast, maybe about 15 or 20 minutes before that first meal. That first meal is going to be a little bit larger, it's going to be a little bit heavier in fats and proteins, and the digestive enzyme can help you to just process all of that and give your body that little bit of kickstart to pull as much as you can from it. All right, and then, oh, this is the children's version. So they also make like a digestive enzyme for children. It's just chewable is the only difference there. Here, this is my multivitamin. You wouldn't take the prenatal in nursing, but we have it. I don't have the other one here at the house, but a regular multivitamin that you buy at the store. You just need to be really careful because a lot of the nutrients in those are not actually in a form where you can absorb them. So that's really important. You want all of your B vitamins methylated. That means that the first process in the absorption is already done for you. You want your vitamin D to be in the form that's the most absorbable. And then you also want it to have minerals in it. So not just vitamins, but minerals, as minerals are super important. So the one we have at Haka is called Koru Complete. This is just the one that I take right now because I'm still nursing the baby. The only other two things that I'll talk about are adrenal support and B complex plus. So if you have really low energy, you're struggling with fatigue, if you know you're low on your B vitamins, a B complex could be very beneficial for you. I absolutely think that this is something that you only take for a period of time and then you get off of it. Because that's the only way to know if your body's actually doing anything with it. It's important to have a methylated form. If you have questions about a B vitamin, we can address that more in the Facebook group, because I'd rather highlight the adrenal support. And this is for when you are super stressed out. So I use this the week before my cycle. When I just have those like racing thoughts, I feel overwhelmed, those kinds of things like that. For me, this is super beneficial. So it's got which B is it? B6 in it, thiamine, vitamin C. The vitamin C is because when you're under so much stress, oftentimes that's when you get sick. It has a little bit of calcium in it, not much, but then it also has things like rhodiola, adrenal glandular, so that's just like a natural ground up adrenal from, I don't know what animal this one comes from, I'd have to look that up. And N-acetyl tyrosine, these are all things that just support you when you're under a lot of stress. So for women, that week before the cycle is a good time to take this. It says 2 capsules on it. For me, I seem to benefit just fine from 1 capsule at night. Helps me go to sleep, just dries up those racing thoughts. So when I wake up, like to go to the bathroom or something, I don't just lay awake. If you're under a lot of stress, like you have a sick parent, you're in between jobs, you're under a ton of financial stress, anything like that, something that's there, but you're working on making it go away, I cannot recommend something like an adrenal support more. How I explain it to people is like you take a sharp corner and you just put some bubble wrap on it so you can stop banging your head against it. And it just doesn't hurt so much. So it just softens everything up and helps you have your part under control. You can't control everything around you, but you can control your reaction a little bit better. So that's the adrenal support. During the TLT, all of our supplements are 20% off for TLT people. We also have some bundles we've put together that have some additional savings in them. And you can see them on that, if you click that supplement button. I know one of them has the digestive enzyme, the magnesium. Oh, the fish oil. I don't have fish oil here. I just used it up. It has fish oil. This is a great time of year to take fish oil, and also a great time to take fish oil. I don't have an example of that here, but our bundle has the fish oil in it. And fish oil, you really want to be careful about the quality of your fish oil. If you just buy some at the store, it can be rancid, very easily can be rancid and not packaged, or what's the word I'm looking for, like the capsule is not properly made to where it keeps the fish oil from going bad. Once that fish oil goes bad, it actually is inflammatory in the body instead of anti-inflammatory. Those omega-3s are so important for brain health. If you're someone who's particularly worried about like Alzheimer's or something like that, it can be beneficial in depression and anxiety. So in a situation like that, where you have those concerns, fish oil might be one that's worth considering taking year round. Otherwise, you do great just to dose it a little bit higher and do it for a short period of time. I do it in the winter months. So we're still technically in winter months. All right, so hopefully that helps with the supplements. If you're taking other supplements than that, you can just post your questions. I'm happy to answer them. I would really encourage you, if you're taking a ton of supplements, to consider what you're taking and why you're taking them. It's so common to just hear that something's good for you and then decide to take it. But a lot of supplements that you might be taking could be working against each other, and then you're just wasting your money. So hope it helps. Thank you.